Hello everyone, Underground Geek here, and I thought it would be a good time to start this month's theme, horror comics. And today I'm going to do a review of the Grim Tales of Terror, the April Fool's cover. Just kidding, get that crap out of here. That was a piece of junk. I read that comic and I felt like I was dirty when I got done with it. I mean, what the heck, guys? But anyway, so today to help me with this comic is my friend Brooklyn and my other friend Lexington. And yes, they're both vegan. But I want to review this comic, Penny Dreadful. And, I watched the show and I liked it a lot. So I thought this would be a good chance to see if the comic was as good as the TV show. Well, yes and no, because of course the comic is different than the actual show, but it is still good in its own way. So pretty much this says 6 months has passed since Vanessa Ives made the ultimate sacrifice in the TV show, right before it got canceled. And in a final act of stunning defiance that saved humanity from the darkness that had plagued her own life, she was gone. For those left behind, those who knew her, those who loved her, every day is a struggle. Devastated and adrift, they come to terms with the hole that her death has left in their waking hours, and the knowledge that the world is far darker and more dangerous than even they could have imagined, because the night is dark and full of terrors. I mean, that's the wrong story. Never mind. So anyway, we have Ethan, the one of the main protagonists in the last show, and then he's seeing something here. He says, "Ethan, I loved you. How could you?" And we see Vanessa Ives, and she's obviously some kind of ghoul. So then we cut to the next scene, and he's actually dreaming. He wakes up and yells, "Vanessa!" And he says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." He peeks out the window, and he happens to see something that looks like Vanessa. And he calls out her name, but it's actually another person, not her. And we'll talk about who that is later. Very brooding, very brooding. So then we cut to Cairo, Egypt. And I like this comic book because you instantly can recognize the characters from the TV show. Like right off the bat, you know this guy, and you know it's Mr. Lyle, the eccentric historian. So they're digging in Egypt, they find something, and they go to check it out. And when they check it out, it's actually a tomb of sorts. And it says life, death, and rebirth. So when they enter the tomb, they see even more hieroglyphs. And so, of course, they're thinking about how to monetize this. Well, as they check out the next, they had checked out the first story, and it had talked about Amunet and Amun-Ra and how they were fighting. And then this one has to do with Lucifer and Set. And, their later names, Lucifer's later name that he gets. And that's Set. And then we're going to see how this is basically the devil and Dracula fighting. Okay? And someone's in between them during the fight. So then he says that we need to take this sarcophagus with us, and he notices something about it. It says here lies the body of Belial, a servant of our Lord and Savior Set. And I recognize that name instantly, and I didn't know where to place it. He will lead the sons of darkness to victory. The man in this crypt has the power to bring Lucifer into our world. What I insist we do is walk away immediately and make sure no one else enters this tomb again, please. So he tells them to pretty much seal it off, don't let anybody in, and they agree. So then, London, 1 month later, we recognize the old man, the Indian, from the TV show. It says, "Power speaks to those who listen. I listen now for a voice in the wind." And he takes a smoke of his peace pipe, and then he begins his journey. and he starts to see future events. He sees them all getting attacked and killed by the army of the dead. So then he instantly knows that he must jump into action. He leaves Ethan, and then we see the rest of them come to ask where he's gone. And then he goes to see the doctor. And it's Dr. Seward, the same one that had went and saw Vanessa Ives. So he's trying to get her to help to deal with his werewolf ability, but he doesn't tell her it's a werewolf. He just says it's a darkness in him. Pretty good likeliness here. I like this. Something monstrous. I need you to enter my mind and teach me how to control it. But it mustn't be now. It has to be this Friday when the moon is full and not here in London. Very ominous. So then we cut to, we talk to them. They're sitting there in front of Miss Ives' resting place there, and they're talking about how they weren't able to save her. And then we cut to the next scene where Ethan is walking in the market, and he knows someone's following him, and it's the same person from before. Then we cut to another scene where he's now talking to someone else, trying to, figure out what's happening. And it's the same person from before. If you'll notice from the TV show, Miss Hartigan, she's basically a vampire hunter. So they're talking and conversing, and they are interrupted because someone has brought the tomb back, and it's the Duke of Kent that ordered it to be done. And he had told him not to bring it back, but they had done it anyway. So he tells him to seal it and burn it. So then we cut to the famous house 5 days later, where Vanessa Ives learned to control her abilities. And this is where Ethan has brought the doctor to help him rid himself of the uncontrollable monster. She says, and who are the shackles for? Me or you? Me. Instead of a water, make me a whiskey. So then we cut to the Egyptian dynasty opening night, the gala, and it's a party for everyone. The Duke of Kent is there. He's acting a fool. And then we notice that there's I'm thinking this is probably Lily, but she says, beware the sons of darkness, it is war they desire. So then there's a distraction and she gets away. They're talking, and then they notice something. Miss Hartigan comes down and she's wearing a suit. And I thought, this was kind of tacky at first, but oh well, she's a vampire hunter. So they're talking again. Says, thank you, gentlemen. Everyone is staring at as if they have never seen a woman in formal dress before. Ha 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 ha. So then we get back to Ethan and the doctor here, and they're talking about the situation. I did like this comic book, but I do feel like this scene could have been a little bit more drawn out. But I understand it's a comic book and you can't do certain things. He says, I need you to enter into my mind and teach me how to control whatever it is that has taken hold of me. I do not know what you will find, but it will be horrifying. Promise me that you won't get any closer to me than you are now. Oh God, it's beginning. And he starts struggling in pain. He says, Ethan, what's wrong? What's happening to you? Get back, doctor, get back. And then he changes into the ferocious werewolf. So then we cut back to the Duke of Kent again. He goes down to see the tomb, and he has his little cretins open up the tomb, and just as they open it up, he kills both of them. And I'm thinking this was either a blood sacrifice or to cover up the scene. But he does use the blood to open the tomb. I'm thinking that's the only way you could probably open it. So from there, he starts this ceremony. He starts telling the thing to wake up. It does wake up and attacks him. And then we see what it is. It's the classic mummy. from the monster movies. He says, "Please, Belial, let me go. I am a son of darkness. I serve your master Set." And they start conversing over and over about what's happening. He starts to get him up to speed. He says, "You and only you can free our father from his prison of fire and bring him to this great world. Belial, we need you to once again create an army of undead, a powerful force that will wipe out all mankind and allow the sons of darkness to reign free." And he understands. So from there, he is told to go upstairs and kill everyone at the gala and make them part of his army. And that's where it ends. So from there on, we get our title page here. It's written by Chris King, illustrated by Jesus Hervez, colored by Jason Wordie. And then we get some sketches of the characters. There's Lily, Catriona, and some of the different covers that they have. Lots of covers with this one. More covers here. Books Million variant. I like this one. And with that ends the first comic book of the month of horror themed month that we're going to be doing here on my channel. Now, as far as this comic goes, I do feel like they were able to capture the mood of the show, the stories and everything. Now, I do feel like they had a lot to tell, so maybe they're in a hurry. And it's not a superhero comic, so you have to remember there's going to be more drama and more storytelling than action. They are going to have action, but they're going to have it at certain points where it needs to be. All in all, I do feel like this was a decent comic. I understand what was happening. I wasn't lost at any time. It's a different style, though. I do feel like it's a little muddy. I don't really like that as much, but I got over it the more I read it. I do love the way that they're tying in one at a time these classic monsters from the old monster movies. And they do it in such a classic way. If you remember in the seasons of the TV show, it was about Satan and Dracula constantly in a battle to see who's going to rule the earth. And then the first seasons of the show, it was more about Dracula. And now this comic book seems to be more about Lucifer. All in all, I feel like it was a very good comic and a very good start to our horror month here on my channel. So tell me, you guys, what you think about this. Tell me what you think about the idea of this. And tell me what you think about the comic in general. And if you're reading anything like this. I'm sorry that I didn't review Grim Tales of Horror, but I got to tell you that was flat out trash. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. Hit the thumbs up, hit the notifications button, and please watch my next videos. Thank you very much. Say goodbye to Brooklyn and Lexington. See you later.